how do you carry on? How do you not let this destroy you? Because if you're in your mid-30s, you know that said divorce directly played into your ability to have children. Where are you guys? And do you need me as badly as I need you? Or have you somehow miraculously figured it all out? And either way, I want to hear from you.
You ever watch someone throw their whole future away for a moment of excitement? That's exactly what happened here. She had a husband, a good man, someone solid, present, dependable. But that wasn't enough. She got distracted. She got tempted. She got bombed by Chad. And just like that, she divorced her husband, chasing what she thought was better. Fast forward, Chad is gone, time has passed, and now she's finding out she can't have children. And suddenly, she's full of regret. Suddenly, she wants a real man again. But now she's learning the hard way. Some mistakes don't come with second chances. Let's get into it. Here's the cold truth nobody wants to say out loud, but I'm going to say it. This woman had a good man, a husband, a home, a future, but she threw it all away because she got bombed by Chad. You know the type, the guy with the muscles, the smooth talk, the temporary excitement. She let lust replace loyalty, let temporary pleasure destroy permanent peace, and walked away from a man who would have given her the world, just to chase a thrill. She divorced her husband, left her marriage, disrespected commitment she made for Chad. But the story didn't end there. Fast forward, Chad's gone. The fun wore off. The reality set in. And now, she finds out she can't have children. That's right. The very life she walked away from, building a family, having kids, sharing love with a man who actually cared, is now impossible. She traded stability for chaos. She chose excitement over legacy. And now she's filled with regret. And here's the part that really exposes how delusional some women can be. Now she wants a new man. Now she's back on the market, talking about how she's changed, how she's ready to love again, how she just wants someone who gets her. This is a game. They destroy what's good, chase what's flashy, lose everything, and then come crawling back when life humbles them. She didn't lose her husband. She gave him up. She wasn't betrayed. She made the selfish choice. And now that she's older, childless, and alone, she wants to repackage herself as wife material again. No, that ship sailed. She had the man. She had the future. She threw it away for a fling. And now the consequences are permanent. And let's not act like this is rare. This happens more than people admit. Women thinking they'll always have time, that they can chase fun and come back to seriousness when they're ready. But biology doesn't care. Time doesn't wait. And good men don't sit around hoping you'll return after your detour through dysfunction. You had a man willing to give you children, give you stability, build a legacy, and you tossed it for a Chad who wouldn't even stay for breakfast. Never take back a woman who left you for excitement. Never reward betrayal. Never let guilt or pity override your purpose. These women don't regret losing you. They regret losing the benefits you brought. They regret the comfort, the stability, the family they could have had. But it's not your job to fix that. It's not your job to save her from the life she chose. She picked her path. Now let her live with it.
I'm doing really ugly crying. Because, oh, I didn't know my cat was in here. She must have thought I was crazy. Oh, I'm just really realizing that my marriage is over and it's really bad. Oh, I'm really sad.
This is what happens when a woman mistakes lust for love and attention for value. She had a husband, a good man, loyal, present, building something real. But she threw it all away for a fling with Chad. That's right. She risked a whole marriage, her home, her future, for a guy that gave her butterflies for one weekend and disappeared by Monday morning. Her husband found out. He didn't fight. He didn't beg. He didn't cry. He just divorced her. like a man who knows his worth. And now, Chad's moved on. And not just moved on, he's openly saying he wants a younger woman. Not her. Not the woman who risked everything for him. He got what he wanted, and now he's gone. Now she's sitting in the wreckage. No husband, no Chad, no second chance. And it's finally sinking in. Her marriage is over. That man who was willing to go through life with her, gone. That safety net she thought would always be there, gone. That fantasy she chased, it collapsed fast. Because Chad never wanted her long term. He wanted a moment, not a future. And now he's off chasing youth while she's left to deal with the shame, the guilt, and the brutal reality that her loyalty had a price. And it wasn't even that high. This is the outcome of modern delusion. Women thinking they can do better even when they're already with a good man. Women believing excitement means it's worth the risk. Women assuming that a husband is something they can come back to later if the streets don't work out. But guess what? Sometimes when you leave a good man, he doesn't wait for you to realize your mistake. He moves on, and when he's gone, he's gone. And that's exactly what happened here. She thought the thrill would last longer than the foundation. She thought a moment of pleasure could replace years of partnership. And now she's alone, realizing she traded loyalty for lust and lost everything. This is a mistake. It's a pattern. Over and over again we see it. Women chasing the wrong man, disrespecting the right one, and then crying when the damage can't be undone. And the worst part? They want sympathy. They want understanding. But they never gave that to the man they betrayed. Stop rescuing women from the consequences of their choices. If she walked away from you to entertain Chad, let her stay with that decision. If she disrespected your loyalty, your effort, your stability, don't let her come back just because Chad rejected her. That's not love, it's desperation. And if you take her back, all you're doing is rewarding betrayal. Let her cry. Let her reflect. Let her feel what it's like to be discarded after discarding you. That's not cruelty. That's accountability. Because men have been silent for too long, while women make reckless decisions and expect comfort after fallout. Not anymore.
Myself, last year I went through a huge weight loss journey, and a guy that I dated last month, I went out with him twice, and both times he was like, "You don't look like your photos. Your photos look like you were a lot thinner than what you were in person." Like, what? Are we doing this? Are we really doing that? I don't know why this is hard. I went out for the girlfriend tonight, and we were talking about, like, okay, well, what is it that I need to work on? Because obviously there's something wrong with me because I'm not able to figure out how to be in a healthy, good relationship. And she was like, "Emily, what's wrong with you?" Like,
So now she's out here talking about how hard dating is after divorce. She's online emotional, acting confused, like she can't figure out why it's so difficult to connect with a man, why no one's taking her seriously, why it all feels like rejection after rejection. But then she slips up and tells a real story. She went out twice with Chad, and by the second date, Chad told her she didn't even look like her photos. Let that sink in. This is what we're dealing with. A woman complaining about how hard dating is after divorce. Meanwhile, she's out here misleading men with filters, angles, makeup, and lies, and then acting shocked when reality doesn't match up. This is not about her being a victim. This is about her being dishonest, entitled, and completely out of touch. She divorced her husband. Probably a good man, probably stable, probably boring in her eyes, because she thought she could do better. She thought the dating pool was full of upgrades. She thought men would be lining up for a second chance at someone who already failed her first commitment. But reality checked her fast. Now she's back out here, pretending to be someone she's not, try to impress men who don't even want her long term. And she's surprised it's not working? She created this. She left a marriage. She gambled on the streets. And now she's sitting alone wondering why no one's treating her like a prize. It's because she's not one, not anymore. She used to be. She used to have value in loyalty, in partnership, in stability. But she threw that away for excitement. For Chad. And what did Chad do? Looked at her in real life and said, "You don't look like your pictures." That's the cold truth she's been running from. Men aren't falling for the act anymore. They see through it. They want real. And she's still trying to sell fantasy. Do not save her. Don't be the guy that picks up the pieces after Chad trashes a package. Don't be the emotional dumping ground for a woman who thought she could replace loyalty with lust and win. She wasn't ready for reality. She wasn't ready for consequences. And now she's realizing that this world doesn't have sympathy for women who throw away good men, fake their image online, and still expect elite results. And let's address the core issue. She's still trying to compete with younger women, using filters and deception to stay relevant in a game she aged out of. That's why dating is hard. Not because there aren't men, but because the men she wants don't want her. She fumbled her husband, misread the market, and now she's shocked that the demand is low. That's not a glitch. It's the result of her own choices. Don't be her retirement plan. Let Chad's leftovers stay right where they landed. If she couldn't be real with her photos, she's not going to be real with her heart. If she can't bring truth to the first impression, don't expect anything solid later on. You deserve peace, not pity. You deserve truth, not tactics. And you deserve someone who values love the first time, not just when she's out of options.
Can we just stop romanticizing divorce? Can we just stop? This shit is the hardest thing I've ever been through, and it just won't end. Like, that's the worst part. The grief won't fucking end. I just want to know when it's gonna be my turn. I want to be happy. I just want a family. I want to be married. That's it. I want to feel support. I want to feel like I'm a unit. Like, there's nothing worse than being married and not feeling that. But it doesn't make leaving or ending your marriage any easier. And I'm so sick of people acting like it's such a walk in the park. I feel like I'm just trying to keep going, and I'm just trying to stay positive, and I need a win. Like, I can't win. I just don't know what to do anymore. If you know someone going through it, even if they're acting strong, I can promise you they're not okay. It's the hardest thing you can go through. Like, it's awful. And I keep thinking it's gonna end. It's just not. Like, the grief is just never ending. It's horrible. I can promise you, no one wants to get a divorce. So stop acting like they do, okay? This shit is so hard.
No one wants to get a divorce, right? That's what she's saying, screaming, crying on video, breaking down emotionally, confessing that this is the hardest thing she's ever been through. She says the grief won't end, that the pain keeps coming in waves. And now she's out here saying she wants a family. She wants to be happy. She wants to be married. She wants to feel support. And here's the problem. It's not that she's in pain. It's that she created the pain. And now that she's living in the wreckage, she wants sympathy instead of accountability. This didn't happen out of nowhere. This wasn't some accident or misfortune that fell from the sky. This was a result of choices, decisions, priorities. The same woman crying today was the same one who said, "I'm not happy," and filed those papers. The same woman who pushed away a husband who tried, who showed up, who stayed. The same woman who believed TikTok advice, girls' nights, and temporary freedom would bring permanent peace. Now she's waking up alone, facing silence, and realizing she walked away from the very thing she now cries for. She says she wants to be married. She says she wants a family. She had one. She says she wants support. It was right there, but she didn't value it. She didn't protect it. She listened to the wrong voices, chased the wrong lifestyle, and now that reality is smacked in the face, she wants to play victim. But men, we've got to stop falling for this emotional bait. The tears don't undo the choices. The crying doesn't erase the disrespect. The grief she's feeling, it's not just loss, it's regret. She thought the single life would be fun. She thought she could always find someone better, someone newer, someone more exciting. It's brutal, because the good men aren't lined up anymore. They're not checking for someone who already walked out on commitment. They're not interested in being the rebound after she ruined her own stability. That support she wants, that's what she threw away the moment she believed she could do better without the man who stood beside her. Men, listen carefully. You are not the rehab center for her bad decisions. You are not the emotional reset button after she fumbled real love. These women are realizing too late that independence without connection is hollow, that chasing freedom can leave you feeling more trapped than staying committed. But by the time they realize it, the damage is done. And now they're on camera, crying, not because they're innocent victims, but because they can't escape the consequences of the very decisions they made with confidence. She had everything she says she wants, and she gave it up. Now she wants a second chance at what she destroyed. But let's be clear, you don't get to tear down the house and then cry because you're cold.
I don't know if you can tell, but I'm on the verge of tears right now. And I'm on my way to go pick up my kids from their dad's house. And it just reminded me of a couple weeks ago. I was talking to my mom and I told her, I was like, I've been like crying all day, whatever. And then I ended up getting the kids. And she said, did you cry in front of them? I said, no, I had like a mental breakdown before I picked them up. Her response to that was good, because they don't need to see that. And it just reminded me that, like, growing up, I didn't live with emotional parents. Like, to this day, I've never seen my dad cry. The only time that I, like, remember seeing my mom cry is through my parents' divorce. And I don't really remember her crying a lot. I think now as an adult, I feel like whenever you're a kid, you know how to, like, you're learning how to regulate your emotions. But growing up, my parents, I guess, regulated their emotions so much, or they just pushed it down, because we never saw them go through anything besides, like, maybe, like, frustration or anger. Like, I never saw them, like, deal with, like, sadness. And now, like, I'm dealing with a divorce myself. And I kind of wish that my parents were, like, a little bit more emotional growing up, or, like, talked to us about it. Because I don't know how to feel. Like, oh my god. Like, most of the time that I feel like I need to cry, I can't. And I don't know how to deal with that emotion. Because I'll be sad for, like, a long time, and I can't cry until I, like, completely, like, break down, and I'm mentally drained, and it just all comes out at once. And normally whenever all of the emotions come out at once, then there's, like, it's so much that, like, the depression just kicks in, and I start having, like, dark thoughts that I know I shouldn't have. And yes, I know, like, I have a lot to look for, but I think one thing that I will try to do with my kids is show them it's okay to cry. It's okay to have emotions, and, like, please talk to me about something if something's bothering you. I just really wish that I was, like, equipped with that growing up, because I was fine until now. Like, it's never been something that I've been like, this is the worst thing in my life, of, like, sadness or whatever. Like, I've never had anyone, like, super close to me pass away, or, like, I've never had that. Like, my parents' divorce was awful, but definitely not, like, the pain I'm feeling now. And like, if you have any tips on how to, like, I feel like a psychopath right now, how to, like, start regulating your emotions as an adult. Like, I can't make myself cry. I feel like I can't talk to anyone about, like, whenever I'm sad, because I don't want to ruin their day, or I feel like they won't get it. Like, even, like, talking to my parents who have been through a divorce, I still feel like they don't get it. And I know that they do. It's just the way that maybe they like give me advice or whatever. I don't know. Like, it just feels lonely. And like, I know I try to come on here and like act happy all the time, and this is a very like big change in my life, and it's hard. It's very fucking hard. I just want to feel like I know how to control myself, because that's the one thing I can control in this situation, and I feel like I don't even have control of that right now.
Here we go again. Divorce regrets. Another woman out here crying on camera, looking back at her past decisions, wishing she could rewind time. Now she's emotional, broken, talking about how hard it is, how lonely it feels, how much she misses having a man, a home, a family, a future. And the reality is, she did this to herself. Nobody forced her to walk away. Nobody pushed her to destroy her marriage. She made the choice. She believed she could do better. She thought the grass was greener. She let social media, her friends, and her ego convince her that she was missing out. And now she's living in the aftermath. Divorce regret doesn't come out of nowhere. It's the result of a woman believing she could break a family, abandon commitment, and still land on her feet like nothing happened. She thought she'd find another man waiting. She thought she'd be swept off her feet by someone wealthier, more exciting, more fun. But all she found was silence, disappointment, and rejection. Because once the ink dries on those divorce papers, the truth hits hard. You don't just lose a husband. You lose protection, stability, peace, and a future. But here's the real issue. Women file for most divorces. They're the ones walking away. Not because the man was abusive. Not because the man was toxic. But because they weren't happy. Because he was too boring, too consistent, too available. They wanted a spark. They wanted a fantasy. And when reality didn't feel exciting enough, they traded the real thing for a chase. Now she's crying about the same man she once ignored, the same relationship she didn't fight for, the same life she couldn't appreciate when she had it. Stop letting these women come back after they destroy what you built. She didn't leave because you were a bad man. She left because she was ungrateful. She left because she thought she could do better. Now she regrets it. But regret doesn't reverse reality. You're not a second option. You're not a backup plan. You're not supposed to rebuild a woman who willingly tore down the life you gave her. She had it. She says she wants support now. She had it. She says she wants a family again. She had it. She didn't lose it. She left it. And that's the part they never want to talk about. Divorce regrets aren't tragic. They're predictable. This is what happens when you treat commitment like a costume. When you think you'll always have more time, more chances, more options. Don't entertain her tears. Don't take her back. Don't let guilt override your growth. Let her sit in the reality she created. Let her feel the weight of her decisions. Because the same woman who walked out with pride is now crawling back in pain. That's not your problem. That's not your burden.
Required to take all of the debt in my divorce or pay him alimony or child support. It's like, life's not fair. It should not be this fucking hard to live in this fucking country. And I'm drowning, and I'm not the only one. And okay, this video is going to be more of like a rant and just like probably a little bit TMI, but my divorce girlies are going to know what I'm talking about. So when I was married for 13 years, and I like 100% supported my ex-husband in like the startup of his business. Like, I created his LLC. I did all of these things. I pushed him to go to his taxidermy school. I made sure that he had a business. I picked the start date. I made the Facebook page. I did all of the things for him. And in the background, I was building my own business and working full time. Fast forward several years later, and we decided to get a divorce. Things just didn't work out. The why doesn't matter, but what does matter, and what I'm really struggling with right now, and I'm sure that I'm not alone, is that I was the breadwinner. Right. He was a small business owner, so tax returns, write-offs, all the things. And I worked full-time, W-2, making over 6 figures a year. So when it came down to time for our divorce, even though the reasons of the divorce were not my fault fully, no, I shouldn't say that. I'm just as much to be held accountable for the divorce as him. Anyways, because I made the majority of the money on paper, I was required to take all of the debt in my divorce or pay him alimony or child support. And quite frankly, you got me f***ed up. because ain't no mother time. So I willingly took all of the debt and 100% am supposed to pay for all of the kids' activities and all of the things, which I do. And like literally everybody in my life told me not to do that. And I thought, it's fine. I've got it. I'll be able to handle it. Everything's fine. I'm going to be able to do it. And here we are, like 2 years out, and I'm literally drowning. I quit my job to take my business full time last year, and it was really not, I didn't really want to quit. I really wasn't financially ready to quit, but I had missed so much work because my oldest son had, been hospitalized for his mental health a couple times, and then my daughter with her diabetes, and I was a sales commission job, so my customer service score was dropping. So it was like a mutually agreeable, like, okay, we're going to see you later type deal with my full-time job. And I am just like, I'm drowning in debt. And like, I get calls every single day, like, hey, you owe us this money, and hey, you owe us this money. And I'm like literally just trying to pay my rent. And I'm not asking for anything unless you like want to join my coaching programs. Like that would be great.
So now she's saying it. I want my husband back. She's crying. She's emotional. And she's finally being honest. It's hard without him. Of course it is. She's not saying that because she just realized he was a good man. She's saying that because now she's tasting the real world. She walked away from a man who gave her peace, protection, presence, and provision. A man who showed up, who held it down, who loved her even when she didn't know how to love herself. But she got bored. She got entitled. She thought she could do better. So she left, filed the papers, broke the home. And now that she's alone, she's finally realizing he was quality. See, they don't get it when it matters. When you're there every day, when you're paying the bills, being dependable, consistent, boring, even, they confuse consistency with weakness. They confuse your loyalty with lack of options. But the moment you're gone, the moment they feel the silence, the weight of real independence, the moment no one's checking on them, no one protecting them, no one's calling them wife, reality slaps them in the face. And let's be clear, this is not love. This is regret. She's not coming back because she values you now. She's coming back because she finally realized her value dropped the moment you left. She stepped into the dating world and thought she'd upgrade, thought there'd be more Chads ready to scoop her up, but what she found were time wasters, players, men who only wanted one thing and bounced. Now she's crying for her husband because for the first time in her life, she tasted what average feels like, and it's bitter. She had quality. She had structure. She had a man, and she threw it away because social media told her she deserved more, because her single friends hyped her up to chase freedom. And now her friends are still single, and she's crawling back, saying it's hard without him. You think? But here's the point men need to understand. You are not the comeback plan. You are not the man she gets a return to after realizing she fumbled. You're not her redemption story. If she couldn't appreciate your quality when she had it, she does not deserve your loyalty now that it's gone. Because she didn't just break a vow. She broke your trust, your peace, and your purpose. She didn't just walk away. She bet against you. And now that she lost, she wants to get back in the game? Absolutely not. Men, stand firm. Let her cry. Let her feel every bit of the discomfort she created. Because when you walked away, you didn't just take yourself. You took the warmth, the support, the future she didn't respect. And now that she's in the cold, she wants you to turn the heat back on? Too late. You gave her husband treatment. She responded with divorce. Now she wants to feel like a wife again. Like, share, subscribe. And remember, a woman who regrets losing you isn't a woman who deserves you. She had you. She left you. She broke it. Let her live with it. That's the real price of quality. You don't get a second chance when you throw it away.